Catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all on Kirblog. Woo! Welcome, everybody. Once again, as always, I'm cheating. I'm time traveling. This is being recorded on the 20th of December, but you will be hearing it as the last installment of December, the last Kirblog of December, for Pokécember, which is I've been doing this all month of all Pokemon-related Kirblogs for the last several weeks. I hope you've all been enjoying them. As I teased on the end of the last one, I have with me a first-time guest, but long-time listener, apparently.
Pika.
Don't. Really? It's Pikachu! No. God damn it! No. It's my dad. What are you doing?
It's Pikadad.
No, it's not Pickadad. It's Kirbodad. See, this is the conundrum that we recently reached, is that Dadifer, as I think we've referred to you as possibly in the show before,
which flows
better, but Kirbodad makes more sense because Dadifer implies that your name is Christopher, and
exactly.
it's not.
I'd have to change my name to
No.
to Dad.
Well, that's what. Yeah, to Dad.
I mean to Faja.
So do you want to introduce yourself formally?
Yeah. How you doing? My name is Vic Niosi, or is it Neosi, as Christopher says?
I've been saying Neosi, like
I have been enunciating my name probably for 63 years now. The wrong way, because most folks, when they do meet me, they say, "Oh, hi, how are you, Mr. Neos?" And they say, "No, it's Nios." And my son introduces himself as Christopher Neos.
I swear I remember you or Mom telling me.
I have actually found out that the appropriate enunciation is Neos. So I am the new Vic Neo.
Yes, you're the Neo C.
Dadifer.
Yes, Kirbodad.
Kirbodad.
Whatever you want. Or to some.
AKA EA.
Yes, for those of you who are old enough fans to have seen TV Tome Adventures back in the day, the characters that Tome fans would know as Exec, played by John St. John, was previously known as EXE and voiced by my dad right here.
One line.
No.
We won't talk about it.
No. Well, there was a blooper that we won't talk about.
Yeah.
Yes,
I do want to talk about it.
Yes.
That was pretty good.
If you get it, you get it. But
Yeah.
most of you,
If
but
you don't get it,
99%
we
of
will
you
not
probably
talk about
don't.
it. We'll not talk about it.
Anyway, what we're going to talk about, and as we're, because this is going up, I think, on the 29th, if I'm remembering correctly. Yes, 29th. So, Dad.
Yes.
You had the fortunate, or I guess maybe in some ways, and how you interpret it, unfortunate circumstance of having me
Beating you in Pokemon Stadium every game?
Well, I wasn't going to start off immediately with that, but of course, most people, I think, if you've been following Kirblog since the beginning on my top 10 N64 games, I did talk about how Pokemon Stadium was one of my favorite spin-off games that I used to play with you.
Yes.
But more going back before that, I was going to say is that you had to deal with me throughout the explosion of Pokemon hitting the U.S.
Pika.
all at the same time.
Pika.
The show, the games, the toys, the cards, the everything.
Yes. You were Pikachu.
How many? No, I was.
After Dopey.
No,
You
well,
were
no, I was.
Pikachu.
No, I was.
After Simba, but you were Pikachu. At one point.
After a Power Ranger, then I was Pikachu.
That's right.
Or rather, I was Scyther, more specifically, running around like a screaming idiot in the schoolyard. I'm so sorry. Anyway, what I'm more sorry about is the fact that, like, I don't even want to. I mean, this is where my stereotypical American white boy privilege comes in. Of how many thousands of dollars you probably sunk into that franchise as a whole over the course of, like, I don't even want to guess how many years that it was, like, the thing I was obsessed with.
And I enjoyed it.
Well,
Had fun with it.
well, what's your earliest memory of when everything started? Because that would have been about, like, 4th grade for me. That would have been, like, 1997, 98 or so.
Probably the weekends that we used to spend together when you came over, and we watched Pokemon together.
The episodes of the show.
Yeah, the
Okay.
shows, and you would jump around the apartment and on the couch and off the couch, and
Like a
those were
like
good.
a lunatic.
They were good times. They were very, very good times. They were memorable times.
See, it's interesting because I guess from another perspective, like, because the original game was on Game Boy, and that's not exactly something you can bond with your parents over because it's you burying your face in a handheld system. So we didn't really because we're gonna be doing another one after this about just you and I playing video games together. But you didn't get to experience the actual Pokemon games until the spin-off ones, like Pokemon Snap was the one where you take the pictures,
Right.
And Pokemon Stadium,
Right.
etc.
Yep.
And we typically, so I guess I just talk about that first.
Have I said that you haven't ever beat me in Pokemon Stadium? What,
I did, though.
Did I say that?
I have.
I can't remember.
I can remember at least a few times overcoming. Do you remember your killer combo you destroy me with?
I know that it was Gengar.
Gengar, yeah.
Yes, and I actually have a little face on one of the emoticons on my phone that I sent once in a while. Little purple face, kind of looks like a Gengar.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one.
Yes.
Maybe I'm not outfitted with the right emoji for that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But no, you would put me to sleep with hypnosis.
Yes.
And then use Dream Eater and wipe me out, and you'd sweep my team. There's a term for that apparently. It's sweeping, when you wipe out your entire
Well,
team's
that was
Pokemon.
how I was able to have my girlfriend over. Was the hypnosis. Push her to sleep through hypnosis so that we could.
So you could eat her dreams. My dad is a demon, actually. He is a ghost type Pokemon. He is literally a Gengar. Why was Gengar your favorite?
I don't know. I kind of lost you on the eat the dreams. Or whatever.
That was what his attack was. It was Dream Eater.
Okay.
Christ's
Dream
sake.
Eater, right? Okay.
Yeah. He's barely on this planet right now. His Christmas shopping is getting the best of this. Why did you like Gengar so much?
I don't know. I liked the character. I liked the little purple guy. I thought he was pretty cool.
It's weird because like
And you always picked like a nerdy kind of character.
Like who?
I'm trying to remember.
What other Pokemon do you remember in general aside from Pikachu and Gengar?
I remember when we used to have Mike over.
Mike Lucas, those of you listening.
Yeah. Poliwhirl.
Poliwhirl was the frog with the.
Poliwhirl was stupid.
Poliwhirl is the best, and I will thank you to
Poliwhirl.
respect him.
And
Thank you.
Poliwhirl had a target on him.
Yeah, it was a swirl.
Right.
You know what I found out what that was, by the way?
What was that?
The little swirly thing?
A target.
Well, yes, it was a target for you to punch for the giant plushie that we had of it. It's supposed to be, because you know, like tadpoles, like when they're first born, you can see their intestines, and they loop around like a little spiral. And he's supposed to be like a tadpole slowly turning into a frog. So that's why
That's
you had
what that was about?
That's what it was supposed to be.
See, to me, the guy who invented these smoked a lot. A lot of pot.
You know what? I did find out recently. Not the designer, but the creator of Pokemon is apparently autistic.
A pothead.
Apparently he's autistic. Which actually does also kind of make sense.
Yeah.
Like other people at Nintendo was like, yeah, he's very brilliant, but a little strange.
Yeah.
Careful, don't knock the microphone.
Well, you think about how many different characters did he
come up
with?
By now, there's over 700 creatures.
Yeah, and I think we have every one of them in little rubber form.
No, we don't have all of them. No, we have the first. We'll get into that
We
next.
have at least 300.
We have 251. We have the first two generations worth of Pokemon.
You're very weird to remember that.
The reason I remember it.
We have a box in the attic.
The reason I remember it is because that's where I stopped, and I was like, I'm done, Nintendo. You got me.
We're going to count them tomorrow.
No, I know how many we have.
You remember when we bought the knockoff ones?
So, okay, well, before we get to that, so for those of you, I don't think that they still, they might still make them, but I don't think they make one for every single character anymore. But basically,
yeah, but we had them for characters that they didn't make.
No, well,
we bought it from that place.
You're skipping ahead. Hold on, come back. There was. We used to collect these little 2-inch Pokemon figures. They were amongst the first toys that came to America. And they made one for all 151 of the original characters, and then they had all of the 100 Generation 2 ones.
And we collected them.
We used to collect all of them.
Every one of them.
And now here's the thing. The majority of them were available at Toys R Us or Target, wherever we used to go to get them. Sometimes there was that one import store in Huntington Village we used to go to.
Shanghai Shek.
Good. Thank you. He's 60.
63 to be exact.
Oh, of course, But no, it was eBay, and I remember this. It was early. No, it wasn't eBay. It was a different site. But we used to buy Pokemon figures from this guy who went by Spungheck or Spongeheck. We could never exactly figure out how to pronounce his name, but
that's why I said Shanghai Shek.
Yeah, but we don't know if that was. He might have lived in Oregon for all we know. I don't goddamn know.
No, they were coming from overseas.
Was he from overseas?
China, yes.
Oh, okay.
The paint was still wet on them when they got here.
No, that's the thing. A lot of them were. We used to get bootleg Pokemon figures and didn't realize it. Because there were some of them that I got that just looked like ass.
Yes,
it's
we had the fake Prada handbags of Pokemon.
But then when the Pokemon Center, which is now the Nintendo World Store, came out
we
in
went
New
there,
York City.
I never forget the first time they went there. Christopher had a seizure. He was like-
I saw Pikachu shooting lights and Porygon was flying everywhere, and I had a seizure.
Chris was absolutely out of control.
That's not funny.
It was like Ricochet Rabbit.
Well, at the time, this was they don't
Bing,
the Ricochet Rabbit.
Yeah, that was a cartoon.
It's too obscure for
Maybe too
my.
obscure.
Nobody above the age of 50 is going to even.
Okay,
know
if
what
you
that
remember Ricochet Rabbit.
is. Comment below if you know what Ricochet
Yeah,
Rabbit
right,
is, and
it's
don't
a-
Google it.
That's it.
But no, they
actually a
don't
great
have
show.
this. They don't have this anymore. But they used to have at Nintendo. Sorry, at the Pokemon Center when it was that at the time. They had a wall
Right.
of and. We felt like such assholes because
I didn't
this.
feel like an asshole.
Well, no, but I felt like an asshole to you because the entire wall was, hey, here's every single individual Pokemon figure, and you can just buy the rest of them.
And they were like $7 each.
Were they that much?
Oh, they were expensive.
Didn't they have a deal where it's like if you bought four, you get like an extra fifth one or something like
Yeah,
that?
they gave you one for
Yeah,
free because they were worth $2, but you paid $7. So if you bought 5, they inserted one in your
But
ass
it
for free.
was
Sorry about that, honey. If you're listening, I didn't really mean it that way.
of course he did. He also didn't mean the semi-racist Chinese name that you were making fun of earlier. You know?
What,
You didn't-
Shanghai Shek? No,
yeah.
it was some kind of a name like that. I wasn't making fun of Asian
Yes,
people.
yes, you were. You still say Oriental. That's how old you are. I'm outing you in front of the entire internet right now. So there. Anyway, I was saying the reason I felt like an asshole is because we spent like literally years of our lives like searching everywhere, every nook and cranny of Long Island and New York to find all these figures, and then suddenly say, "Here's a wall with all of them, and you can just get and fill out the rest of your collection and buy." I think we even replaced some of the bootleg ones with the real ones.
The real ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
what did we call that?
what do we call what?
What did we call that searching for those things?
Well, what we used to refer to as when Dad and I'd be like, okay, we're going to go to any, like, GameStop or back when we had Electronics Boutique for Canadian viewers.
Oh, wow, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
That's what GameStop is,
is now, right. I
well, no,
think
that's
that's
what
the corporate.
But GameStop in Canada is
It was
is
a
EV Games.
quest.
It was a quest. Yeah.
We had a quest.
Yep.
And it was even my way of shopping for Curb when he was small.
Don't call me that. He actually calls me Curb, and it's disturbing
All right.
and adorable. But continue.
It was my way of shopping for my son Christopher as he was growing up, and I didn't get to see him every weekend, but we spent a lot of time together on the weekends.
Actually, just to cut in on that, because
Yeah.
I have talked about this before, but my parents split up at an early age. Both still friends, both happily remarried. I have a wonderful stepmom and stepdad. I would see you every other weekend as a kid. And
Well, for a while it was every weekend.
well, no, like later
Yeah.
it was, but when I was a young kid, it was like every other
Yeah.
weekend because of school and all that. But either way, so carry on.
Until I started dating, then. But we always had our weekends together, and I always, and I don't know whether it was out of the fact that I felt guilty that I wasn't home with him during the week, but I would always, when we were not together, have a quest to pick something up, not expensive, not to how would you say, spoil my son, but
I always considered myself to be pretty spoiled.
when we did get together on the weekend, I had my quest during the 7 or 10 days, whatever it was that we didn't see each other, that we always had a special time and day. And the first morning that we were together, I would always give him what I had found.
It wasn't like absolutely every single weekend, like, here's a gift for you, like, you know, but like, it was because we were only seeing each other like once every like 10 or whatever days it was.
Well, you know, think about it, though. The times that we had together, sometimes were probably better than times that most kids had with their dad when their dad was living at home, because we always made sure that the time we had together was well spent and
Because you worked a
fun,
lot.
and I worked 80, 90 hours a week, and
Oh, you know, you just remember you actually.
but you weren't spoiled. But you
Well-
know, I mean, you did have at that time, which was state of the art, 55-inch Mitsubishi rear projection screen at the foot of your bed. That if
I'm
you
glad
were
you-
playing,
I'm glad
if you
you
were
sold
playing,
that.
If you were playing Pika Pika or Star Fox, I mean, I like to talk about Star
We're gonna
Fox.
get to
we
that
were
next time.
flying through space. You went in a room and turned out the lights, and you were in another galaxy.
Yeah, but I think you very rightfully sold that because I didn't ask for that. I think you more got that for yourself because you were playing games without me for a while.
Oh, yeah, it actually turned out to be a pretty crappy technology.
Really?
Yeah, but it was way before, obviously, flat screen. But there wasn't a television that you could buy that was a 55-inch. that didn't weigh 4,000 pounds.
Well,
So
yeah.
the rear projection screen was the alternative to that,
Yeah.
and that was no one.
But our
no one had that
our-
in their bedroom to play.
But our
Video
living
games.
room was the real like actual place that we played everything. We and where we lived.
Yeah, we had a
before
pretty
this,
good size 12,000 pound TV in that room back then. But the projection screen was pretty cool because we played Pokemon Stadium. Did I mention that you never beat me?
Oh
in
my
Pokemon
God!
Stadium? Have I mentioned that?
You're killing me. Well, no, I was going to say something. Oh, no. You reminded me when we were talking about going to work. So often, I will probably talk also about this on the next one too. But often, my dad works in cars, and this was at the time.
Works in cars.
Yes, in cars.
What does that mean? Am I a grease
Well,
monkey?
well, then why don't you explain to the audience out there what you do?
I'm an executive in the automobile industry.
Right.
And my son would come to work with me on a Saturday that I didn't want to not see him. And we would load a television in the back seat of my car.
Sometimes they would have one there, though.
And his game system. But a lot of times we had to bring a television with us. And we would set him up, and I would do my sales meeting, and everyone loved to meet Christopher, and we would set him up in the office, and the next thing I know, he'd be in there watching his episode of Pokemon, or playing,
But that was what I was going to say.
practicing to try to beat me.
Which I never did, apparently.
Pokemon Stadium. Did I tell you he has never beat me in Pokemon Stadium?
It's going to be every comment. You don't know what you've unleashed now. What I was going to say to add to that too is because of the fact that you would have to go in earlier than Kids WB would be having their block. Typically, we would set up a tape while we leave. I would go spend the whole however many hours of that day and just hang out and meet all your colleagues and probably embarrass you because I was quite a disturbed young child.
No, and you were doing drawings and making
Oh, that's
money.
right. No, what was that one year? I remember. I think I drew a bunch of illustrations of some cooler Pokemon and
he
sold
was,
them.
He
to
was
people.
very entrepreneurial back then.
I was selling stuff to people.
He was selling drawings that he would do for people that worked for me in the showroom, and because I was the boss, they felt that they had to buy them. And
that's what it was.
Yeah, and
of course,
by the way, they were very good drawings, by the way.
No, they
but
weren't.
what was great, and where I saw Christopher's entrepreneurial spirit was during he would do his drawing, and he would charge $5 for a photocopy of a drawing and $7 for an original.
Yep, that's right.
And everyone wanted an original, and it was actually very refreshing.
And it was a lot of if I'm actually remembering that far back, I think it was like Scyther and Magmar and
Yes,
a lot of the rare ones
absolutely.
that I was drawing because those were the ones I was into at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we would come back to work, or we'd come back from work and then watch the tape of whatever was new.
I
at the
had
time.
employees that had your drawings all over the refrigerator.
Yeah.
More than me because I didn't like that look.
In the office.
No, in the refrigerator at home. They would bring them home and show their kids, and
because I didn't like that look. You framed my artwork. My dad has TTA the movie, which is I had this awful, gross looking artwork that I did on DeviantArt over a decade ago, framed downstairs in our living room, and he loves it. I look at him just yeah, gross. But
I have thousands of your initial drawings.
Wow.
I have
not framed.
We're not but I have thousands on file. Yeah, the originals.
Yeah.
So when you're
away.
up there getting your Grammy or whatever, that's what I'm going to start to sell them on eBay. You're going to sign them. You're going to sign them,
and you can get your retirement fund off that.
And myself and my wife, Susan to the third power, aka the
Holy Mother.
The Holy Mother.
Well,
that's what Christopher calls my.
No, I jokingly because you were like, say hello to my wife. I'm like, you mean Sue? You can just call her by her name. And not my wife, the Holy Mother, and then that's stuck. And now I can't joke with Dad because he'll make it into a thing and it sticks forever, and he'll haunt me with it. Like how I've never beaten him in Pokemon Stadium, supposedly.
What are you talking about?
Allegedly.
You have never.
No, it's not true. I remember when I used my game pack and I brought out my Mewtwo and I just sweeped. I didn't cheat. I used my own Pokemon, not the rentals.
You're
were just
raising
using
your
the rentals.
voice and you cheated.
I can raise my voice. I'm 26 years old. Actually, by the time this comes, no, I won't be 27 yet.
No, New Year's Eve.
Well, yeah, then this is coming out 2 days before. All right, so I'm still 26, but irregardless.
And I will still be 63.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, very cool. I thought I was going to be 64. My wife told me when I'm 65 I can stop working.
Oh.
And she'll support me.
Okay.
So I just had my last birthday, and I'm like, yes, I'm 64 years old.
Oh, you're not
I got
yet.
1 more year to go. She goes, no, you're 63.
You can't even remember
I'm
what
very depressed. I have to work 2 more years.
But when you're 64, you can play lots of N64 games.
who did
It'll be
that
fitting. The Beatles.
That's right.
Yeah.
When I'm 64.
That's good. Oh no! Now we're gonna get the video taken down because copyright.
No.
You've ruined everything.
Not at all.
Not really.
Not at all.
Oh, I was gonna say, because joking about retirement fund, you'd think that a lot of this Pokemon stuff that we have collected would be worth like tons of money now.
No, it's not. There's too much. It's too commercial.
Well, no, there is some stuff.
You know
like,
what it's worth?
Actually,
I'm
the
gonna tell you
figures
what-
are. The figures are rare.
I'm going to tell you
but
what it's worth. It's worth.
all of our lovely memories together, right? Right. Now that I'm grabbing his shoulders,
Why are you
his
touching
shoulders,
me?
and he's like,
Why are you
"Why?
touching
Why are
me?"
you making physical contact with me?"
Why are you touching me?
Well, you're the one.
No, I think you're right. I think that, I look at some of this stuff when you're not here, and I have to tell you,
He cries.
I'm moved. Yeah, I am. I'm moved because, we had...
If you cry on this Kirblog.
No, I will not. I will not. We had some great times with you growing up, and everything that we did, I believe, is like an energy that you have now that...
I mean, look at me. I'm a freak.
But you give to other people. I think that we had some good times. I mean, granted, you're a pain in the fucking ass. You did tell me I could curse, right?
Yeah.
Okay, granted, you're a pain in the fucking ass. But I think that, what we did instilled in you who you are, what you're about, and adds to your creativity. And
You made me the Pokemon master I am today.
Yeah, and even Spiky Mike.
Well,
Well, it was a good time. It was a very, very good time growing up. It was a great experience for me as a dad to be able to interact the way that we did. That sometimes, in some cases, because you were so fucking maniacal into what it was that you were doing, that by me getting into it with you and having Mike over, and let's go back to the movies that we did.
Oh no! Hold on. I want to save that for the end. I want to save that for the very end. I do want to tell that story.
I have to back a little.
No editing.
I'm backing up.
No. So okay, we're back. Anyway,
we're
I'm
back.
not going to edit anything. Don't worry
Okay.
about it. But no, I do want to tell that
You say
story. though.
Mike was the worst actor in the world.
Well, TTA fans will know that too. But either way, the point I was going to get to is genuinely a lot of that stuff, like the cards, which was also something we collected for a while. Those are worth nothing now. Like the figures are actually pretty rare because you have to like really hunt those down to find them like these days.
Right.
But the cards are worth
Well,
like
the real
nothing.
ones, the original. We have a lot of the originals.
Yeah, like from like the first
and
toy
and
lines.
they're in a box,
Carpet.
compartmentalized.
Yes, compartmentalized.
Yeah,
yes.
that too.
By type. Yeah.
By type.
Yep.
I mean, it's like he's so anal.
Well,
But we have a perfect case.
Yeah.
It's double sided. It looks like
Yep.
a magician owns it, and they are tucked away.
Mike had one of those too, by the way.
Does he?
He had the same exact one that I did. Yeah.
Really?
But he only had one side filled because he wasn't
you get it
spoiled
for him?
brat. No, I think he might have seen ours and was like, I want that. Because he had like almost as many. But he wasn't as spoiled. So
So when are we going to talk about the movie?
I'm going to get... Well, actually, let's talk about the real
Now,
movies.
can we put that movie up?
No,
on YouTube?
no, and we are never going to do that.
Why?
Just don't get ahead of yourself yet. We're gonna get there.
Chris, that was phenomenal.
Before that, I want to talk about do you remember taking me to the actual movies, the actual Pokemon movies, and falling asleep at them?
Yeah, well, it was the one with the big birds,
Lugia.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you? But because Mom took me to see Mewtwo, the first one.
Right.
Lugia was the second one.
Which was the one we saw?
Lugia. Lugia.
Yeah, right. Lugia. Okay.
Yeah, and then
That was a whole lot better than that fucking Thomas movie that we waited 3 years
God,
to
yeah,
watch.
no, I talked about that on the Thomas
Oh my
Kirblog.
God, that
yeah.
was like
Yeah.
stick your finger down your throat, throw up.
Well, mostly because you had to deal with Alec Baldwin,
Oh,
who I know you just love Alec Baldwin.
He's obnoxious. He was the worst. He was the worst, Mr.
Mr. Conductor.
Yeah, he was the
Well,
worst.
because you grew. I mean, welcome to the Thomas Kirblog, because you grew up with Ringo and George. George Carlin.
Yes. Oh no, George Carlin was the best, but
Yeah.
Ringo was good too.
He was the original.
Yeah. I was gonna say Ringo was the first one. He was very, very good. I don't know
Yeah.
why he was doing that.
He was up for it. He
And
just was
George
interested.
Carlin was like phenomenal. Why do we park our cars on the driveway and drive our cars on the parkway?
No, you have to hear.
All right, we're going on.
No. I actually, just while we're on this tangent,
Okay.
please do, because seriously, everybody, my dad's George Carlin impression is fucking insane. Please, like, do it.
Well, the word you can't say on TV. Fuck this.
And vagina or what? No. Do what is?
I have never used the word vagina.
Never.
Ever.
Especially not in a blooper on TTA.
Especially not in a blooper and TTA
No.
is EXE.
No. Okay, Pokemon, right. So,
back to Pokemon.
did you see any of the other ones? Because I know we went to go see that one in theaters.
So I just want to ask a question. I mean, what is Pikachu?
What is Pikachu?
Yeah, is it a he? Is it a she?
We did find out that Ash's Pikachu in the show is male. But there are male and female versions of every Pokemon. They actually do have like some different differences to them.
But how do you know?
Female Pikachu have tails that are shaped like little hearts, like they have two little butt heart things.
So that's their female genitalia.
Sure, yeah. That's Pikachu's genitalia are their tails. You did it, Dad. Congratulations.
Right? That's what they call it, genitalia.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm pretty smart.
Genitalia, let me tell you.
Okay, let me tell you.
But Pikachu's a mouse.
Is that what it is?
He's a mouse. He's an electric mouse. You know what his name? I found out what his name means.
Go ahead.
So, what is an onomatopoeia?
Oh, I beg your pardon?
What is an onomatopoeia?
I don't want to pee on you.
Okay, well, I wouldn't expect you to. An onomatopoeia is a word that it represents a sound effect. Like meow meow is a cat meowing. So pika pika is a Japanese sound effect for like sparks coming out of like an outlet. Like little tiny sparks. And then choo choo is like our equivalent to squeak squeak for a mouse. So Pikachu is literally like sparkle squeak. But Pikachu's name is the same in every language of the thing.
How could this be geared to a 4-year-old, 5-year-old? This is very, very confusing. So it's kind of like I won't say nomenclature, but what is it that my wife uses all the time at work? That it's a CTO is a chief technology officer. It's crazy.
So where did you go with that?
It's crazy that I would have never figured Pikachu to be an electronic sparking mouse.
Yes, that is what he
basically.
is. And
so then what is Gengar?
Gengar, and I found out also what his name means. It's doppelganger, because
what's a doppel?
A doppelganger is a copy, a shadow of oneself, and he is a shadow Pokemon.
Now, where do you learn this shit? I mean, stuff.
You mean things?
Yeah, where do you learn?
You mean shit? I learn it from the internet. Is where I've spent the last 15 years of my adult life on.
Here we go.
Yeah.
The internet. So, and I am a French model. Parlez-vous français?
Excuse me?
Have you seen that commercial?
No.
Yes, the girl meets a guy that on the internet, he told her he was a model. The guy is like the biggest dork in the world, and she meets him finally on the street.
I didn't tell you I did that commercial. Anyway.
It's got to be true. It was on the internet.
Well, it always is. Everybody says especially that Pika Blue is a real Pokemon.
And what is that? The big site?
What?
Pikipedia.
No, it's Bulbapedia, like Bulbasaur. That's the Pokemon Wikipedia site. Is Bulbapedia.
Well, what about Gengarpedia?
There's no Gengarpedia, but I can pull Gengar.
We can make
on
one.
Somebody make a Gengarpedia right now. Top comment. Do that.
How about Shithead Pedia?
That's my favorite Pokemon.
Shithead?
Dude, what do you remember? Here's something.
He used to throw poop. That was his.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah,
one. That
was my one.
Hit you right in the face with a big pile of poop.
Ow. Any distinct memories about watching the show with me at all?
Any memories of watching the show?
Watching the Pokemon anime with me?
I fucking hated it.
Really?
Oh, I hated it.
Really? You like Jessie though?
No, right.
You like Jessie from Team Rocket. You thought Jessie was hot.
Oh, Jessie was great. That was the character you played.
Yeah. No, I played Corey.
Yeah, him too. But I didn't like Ash.
Well, most people don't, unfortunately.
He was annoying.
He's 10. He was me. No, it was just a reflection of me at the time. Was what
Come
it was.
on, Pika, let's run into the woods. Who the hell knows what was going on with them two?
Excuse me.
You
implying something? You implying something there? Listen.
No, it was a very weird show. I remember I grew up watching Mighty Mouse, Courageous Cat.
Courageous Cat?
Courageous Cat was very cool. He had a very, very neat car.
Courageous
Cat? And he just kept pulling these things.
Are you making up like Hanna-Barbera cartoons right now?
Courageous Cat and Minnie Mouse was like Mighty Mouse.
Mighty Mouse.
It was like
it
was a great show. He had this stupid car, but I used to watch it every morning before I got on the bus.
That's what made you like cars so much.
And he would pull out of the back of the car For lack of saying, he pulled it out of his
I don't know
butt.
what's
He had
going
a
on
gun.
right now.
He had a gun for everything. He had a gun that he would shoot and would throw a net over someone and pull them. He'd have a gun and shoot it would send a spike. I don't know, maybe your parents, but
Maybe your parents, of all of you listening out there who are like 10, will know. Mighty Mouse was the Pikachu of your generation, and he wasn't even made in Japan.
here I come to save the day.
That's good. So you don't.
Mighty Mouse is on the way. That was the show. It was great.
Somebody draw a Pikachu as Mighty Mouse for me.
It was a very
Not for
very
me, for
cool
him.
show.
But Pokemon wasn't a cool show to you.
No, Pokemon. Pokemon.
Good, you did.
I remember adults trying to pronounce
Pokemon,
Pokemon
and then say Pokemon,
and Christopher.
and I would have a conniption fit.
Yeah, Christopher would freak out.
Because as a 12-year-old, I'm just like, that is an O.
What would you like for Christmas? You want something from Pokemon?
I'm just like, that is
Christopher would
it's a fucking O!
Yeah, I don't want that. There's no such thing as a fucking Pokemon.
It's an O!
It's Pokemon.
It's an O! Because it stands for Pocket Monsters.
I understand that now. You know, at the time I wasn't.
Well, you didn't say Pokemon, because I would have murdered you.
No, I said.
And I would have been on the evening news.
Well, because we used to eat and breathe it. So, you know.
I'm trying to think, before we get to the big final story, are there any other, like,
What's the
particular...
final story? Should I know something about
the movie. But before we get into that, are there any other particular Pokemon-related things that you reminisce on or remember
the
specifically?
friggin' movie that we made was.
No, I wanted to go over anything else we missed before we get to the movie.
We missed the movie that we made.
Okay, so why don't you, because you're chomping at the bit.
Well, because we had a basis, we had a storyboard.
Okay,
This was
well, hold
before
on.
you even-
Well, but before we made this,
Can
like,
we pause so I can get a glass of wine?
no. You here, have a sip of water.
Can I have your
It's
water?
better for you.
All right.
Okay, while you're doing that, so as a, on the that's what gets you fired in voiceover. So as a young child, you can keep that one. It's fine. As a young child,
That's an oxymoron.
my dad and I.
If you're a child, you're young.
Yes.
Why are we even talking
You
about this?
we used to make
When
movies.
you were a little kid.
When I was a little kid,
Hand in the ass kid.
I'm still one of those. We used to make movies. It's the first ones we made back in the day were with Power Rangers, and you can talk about how we had the command center
Those
play
were the
set,
best,
and you would blow smoke with the
The
cigar.
best. I would
Yeah.
light a cigar up and blow smoke into the video screen, and we would film it, and then we would do stop action. You know, they used to have at one point in time I don't know if you remember the Power Ranger toys that you push the button and the head would flip. From
Yeah, it was the live action actor.
It was, right.
Yeah, I've met one of those guys now.
Yeah, and we would take those and set them up stop action on the table. We had a backdrop. I'd light the cigar. I'm surprised we didn't set up the smoke detector in our apartment
actually,
back then.
yeah.
And we would blow the smoke in. And if you remember, the Power Rangers TV show was kind of lame like that.
Yeah.
And
we did all the voices and everything.
did all-
Dad voiced Lord Zed.
It was
that.
it was
You want to do Lord Zed a
pretty
little bit?
cool. But we would stop the camera, and then we would push the buttons and flip all the heads up, and the same way we did the Pokemon movie.
Well, we're getting to that.
All right.
Yeah.
You keep shutting me down.
No, because we're talking about the leading up to it.
I'm not saying anything.
Okay, no, but we did that also.
I'm done.
But
I'm done.
you just remind if he's done with ever. That's the end of the Kirblog. Goodbye, everybody. Fade out. No, but I just remembered another voice role that you did for me when we were talking
Which
about
was?
that. In the first Parody Rangers, there's a scene where my character, Lord Zet, the son of Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed,
Was it
talking
Zed
on-
or Zed?
Zet was my character, who was the son.
But was it with a T or a D?
No, my character was with a T. The original Lord Zed from Power Rangers,
Okay,
which was the
with a
dad,
D, okay.
was with two Ds,
Got it.
because that's how everybody else pronounces
Right.
it. And Dad was Lord Zed on the phone doing a, I told you, like yelling at me or whatever, which Uncle Phil made some dumb jokes about that. But yeah, you remember doing that?
Uncle Phil is my brother. He does the best Donald Duck voiceover that you could ever imagine.
That's true. He does. I know very few
That's
people
it.
that can do that.
That's it.
That's
Otherwise, in life, he's a schmuck. But he can do the best. Brother, if you watch this, you do a great Donald Duck.
Good.
And
I'm
after
sure
that-
he'll totally be able to stomach 34 minutes
Yeah.
of this. Okay, so we used to make movies, and then one day, after amassing we didn't have the collection complete yet, but we amassed a pretty decent collection of
we had a
Pokemon
lot.
figures.
Yes, we did have a
So how did the idea start? this
you
movie?
did with the science project up on the shelf.
Well, no, that was the plot. But like, how did we come up with the idea of like actually doing the movie?
No, there was no we.
We?
In that.
Was it me?
Yeah.
But you take so much pride in it. I feel like it was your idea.
Well,
practically.
because I had someone I think got me a brand new movie camera.
Okay.
Whatever the hell it was, but at the time it was like state of the art. And
no editing software or anything.
yeah, no, we did a lot with it though. If you remember, I mean, that was a pretty. I mean, if you put that up on YouTube,
I'm never going to do that.
no one will ever talk to you again.
Yeah, exactly.
But
do you remember the title of this feature of
It
ours?
started out as a science project that you dropped a bottle that you had. We took an old milk bottle
And just
a
like
plastic
typed out
milk,
Chris's
and you
science
wrote Chris's
project.
science project, and it fell off the top shelf into the sink. And at that time, you had, I don't know what was in the sink.
It was the Game Boy. It fell on the Game Boy.
Right, fell
yeah.
on the Game Boy, and the characters now came alive
and came out of it.
Came out of the game. So now we took all of these
figures
that we had been collecting, and they're marching out of the sink, out of the Game Boy, and a couple of shots of them over the side of the sink onto the floor.
We had a Butterfree like strung up on a string at the bathroom door and
yes,
everything.
And I think Mike did the Butterfree.
No. He was in the second one.
He was in
we're not up to the first one. This was just me and my dad. My dad would film and I
Second
portrayed. Well, yeah.
And it was like we didn't need a.
But do you remember the name of this movie that we made? It was Attack of the Killer Pokemon.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, you
Is that
should.
No, we have. Is it on the video?
I
think
don't.
you did the name.
Did we have a little title card or something?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you did that
But-
on the oak tag.
So that just because I'm genuinely, and by the way, you're not missing anything because there's no like enhanced like
But now
stop
let's-
motion
let's
animation
go
or whatever.
Let's do one step further. How old were you when we did those movies?
I must have been 10 or 11, I think, or if it was
Okay,
it was
so
like late
you
90s.
you had enough creativity to do I won't say a storyboard, but you did on the oak tag. You wrote the name of the movie, who it was by,
Yeah.
and we filmed that as well. So
Yeah.
we started the movie
Yeah.
with that. I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah.
halfway through the movie, he became Gulliver. They had him tied down in my on my bed, which I had.
These 4 candles.
Oh my God! I
Yeah.
had two 5-foot tall candle holders and 2 3-foot tall.
It's really gaudy looking back at it.
Yeah, my bedroom, it kind of looked like sacrifice the virgin kind of room.
Well, I was tied up with ties to these candles
with my ties
that were lit, and we had fire Pokemon figures next to, and I burned my Charizard and my Moltres on the
Can say
candles.
is, my mom is
Gonna kill. No,
me.
my dad is gonna kill me. Was more specifically.
I think you should post that movie one day.
I'm sure everybody listening to this wants that too. But number one, it's difficult because this is on a VHS tape, and transferring that digitally is really hard.
We can convert it to digital.
And two, I don't want to because I would like to keep some level of dignity on the internet. Well, you don't have any of that, Chris.
Yes, but it was way, way better
than Tome or anything that I've done these days.
No, I won't say it was better than Tome, but it was way better than the Hedgehog, the Sonic movies.
Oh
that we did
God!
with
Yeah, I guess.
Mike Lucas, who's the worst actor in the world.
It's
I love
okay.
the kid.
He doesn't claim to be any type of actor whatsoever.
But we had fun doing that as well.
Well, actually, just because I want to talk about these now that we're on this subject.
Okay.
So the first Pokemon movie that we did, the first Attack of the Killer Pokemon, was it ended with somehow I get a space pod, which was what was that? It was like a pasta strainer, like a little orb or something.
No, it was a salad tosser.
That's right.
And we put them in and threw it up.
It looked like a little spaceship, like a
Right.
80s spaceship or something. And I catch all the figures in it and then throw it, and it's like I sent them to space. I did it, and then I just go to sleep and I wake up, and you come in. You're like, oh, Chris, you must have been having a weird nightmare or something. And we had it like hanging up on the ceiling,
Yeah.
like, oh man, it really wasn't a dream, and oh my God, etc.
But
And
we actually set it up
for a sequel.
Sequel.
And then we decided to make a sequel with Mike Lucas.
You remember we were wearing salad bowls and strainers over our head, and our guns. We had weird things like a vacuum cleaner holder,
Nerf gun or
and-
something, I think maybe, or no, they weren't even that. It was just like whatever we could find around the house. More or less.
The sequel was pretty lame.
The sequel was about they come back. I actually remember this when we dug it out a few years
It
ago.
hit the ground and opened up.
And then because we had the 3 bigger dolls, so we had Poliwhirl, Pikachu, and Charizard find my science project, and they like enveloped themselves in the goo or whatever, and they became gigantic. So I think
that was what we did. We did.
Yeah.
We did that photo shoot on the couch. I remember that.
yeah,
But the best part of the sequel was that we had them take over
The house.
No, well, not only the house, but we
And
had
my room.
we had them take over the video game. Don't you remember? They were driving.
Yeah.
We had a scene where they were driving.
It was we had some like generic race game,
like
for,
a couple of
N64.
Ferraris and whatnot,
Yeah.
and they were sitting on top of the
the
console and
controller,
the controllers.
jumping on the buttons.
Right, and you and Mike were laying like on the side of the bed, so I could videotape it without seeing
while
you guys.
while we're doing the Pokemon sound.
Exactly. You were doing it, and the cars were turning around and going
and
back,
crashing into the walls and shit.
I mean, but that was
No, you forgot. There was also that shot on my desk or whatever it was. We had a bunch of them lined up, and I was going, "Burr, burr, 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 hey!"
Well, we did. Yeah, exactly. We did the what the hell do you call that? The line dance? Not a line dance.
The Mexican line dance
yeah.
kind of thing with the Mamba music. Or
Can
whatever.
you say Mexican?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's the name of the race.
Well,
My dad is trying to be PC, brah. He doesn't have any Oakleys yet, but we'll get
What's
on
PC?
that. Politically correct. I gotta introduce you to PC Principle. So when we were doing the second one, yeah, we had Mike on board, and suddenly it wasn't fun for Dad anymore. But we finished that.
Well, it was fun, but Mike struggled with
he wasn't
trying to keep up with us.
and yet I still made him voice his character in TTA
yeah,
all that time ago,
Mike,
knowing he didn't like doing it.
Mike is a great artist, but he's
If he hears this, he's just gonna be laughing his ass off right
yeah,
now.
yeah, Mike, stick to drawing, please.
You're in
Stick to
Hollywood.
drawing.
No, pursue your dreams that I imposed upon you of being an actor
And
that you would never do.
Spike knows I love him like my third son. I know him since he was like a little nerd with the eyeglasses. He looked like the kid on the Christmas Story. What was his name there?
He didn't look like that.
Yeah, he did.
He had the spiky hair pretty early on.
No, but he was a nerd. When he's worse, he was a bigger nerd than you.
No, I was infinitely
No,
worse
I mean
than
if
Mike was.
if there was
No, you're
if
biased.
you go
I
in-
was, I was
listen to
worse.
me. Listen, I love you, but if you go in the dictionary under nerd, there's a picture of Mike. But that's okay.
Wow.
But he can draw like the best of them, and that's
He's drawing for comics like the Munchkin comics and card games. and
yeah.
stuff now.
No, he's a talent to be reckoned
Anyway,
with.
but we're
All
not
right.
talking about Mike. We're talking
All
about
right, so
fucking
now-
Pokemon.
Okay.
And now we're going to talk about Sonic.
Did you have to say the F word? All right, Sonic.
Did you have to say the fucking F word, Chris?
was-
What's your fucking problem?
He was annoying. Sonic was annoying. I don't know.
See, internet, even Dad knows that Sonic sucks.
Yeah, Sonic was annoying.
We tried doing
Sonic, Tails,
Sonic
everything.
Adventure 2, the movie, and Dad had a brilliant Mike Lucas-esque performance as Dr. Eggman.
You guys were hanging off the side of the truck. We were videoing from
Yeah.
the mirror.
Yeah. We got it. For those of you who play the game, we got about as far as what was it? Not a White Jungle, Green Forest. We got up to about that far, and then we just stopped because we were like, "This isn't very good."
Yeah.
We don't have any friends who are women. Go figure to
We
be
should
the
have
girl
done-
character.
We should have done Buster Bunny. A Buster Bunny video.
It would have just been. It would have been about 20 minutes of me running around. That would have been the movie.
It would have been better than the Sonic. That's for sure.
All right, we've been going on
Or Taz.
for 45. Well, we're going to talk about that. Okay, I'll say this: the preview for the preview for the next Kirblog we're going to be doing. It'll be the first of 2016. Is Don and I are going to talk about a lot of video games. Save it. Don't get too excited just yet.
Do you remember the mine level?
Of Tasmania for Sega
Of
Genesis.
Tasmania,
Well,
so-
don't go on that yet. Don't go on it yet. Well, I'm closing his mouth. Dad, we're finishing. We're finishing. Dad,
It took
what-
us 2
what are your-
years to do one level.
What are your final thoughts on the franchise that you've spent thousands of dollars on because of me?
Pokemon?
That is Pokemon.
Well, for us, I think, it was something that brought us together. Most parents probably never really got into it the way that I got into it with you because we spent so much time having fun with it. It wasn't our life, but we were on the same page. We enjoyed it. I don't know if I mentioned he never beat me in Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah. Is that your fondest memory of all this? Is beating me?
Of course.
Your fondest memory is beating me in Pokemon Stadium. Of all things.
I would go to my office and tell people, look, I'm Gengar. I am
Gengar.
I am the best in the stadium, and no, but it was a good time in our lives. We had a lot of fun with it, and again, as I said, I think it was something that we spent time together, and Christopher was into it, and I got into it with him, and it was a joy, going into Manhattan and going to the big store in where the hell was the store?
In Manhattan.
In Manhattan?
Yeah.
No, but it was in Rockville Center.
Yeah. Pokemon Center.
it was pretty overwhelming. And I don't know how many other kids that were really into Pokemon at the time that their parents took the time to make it a quest, to go in and specifically go in for that, and then go have lunch at, what was that place we went, the space place? I don't even think it's open.
Planet 51?
Yeah, something like that. But it was,
That was my reason for going to the city for a long time.
It was memorable, and something that more father and sons and mother and fathers and families should take time to do, and that's get involved with their children's.
Well, here's something, because it's still going.
Thank God he wasn't into Barney, because
I don't think most sane children were ever into Barney.
No, Barney was big.
Yeah, but he sucked. Everybody knew he sucked.
Barney was big. I mean, I can't even
Thomas
say,
could kick Barney's ass.
I can't even tell you what I think about Barney. But no. Barney was big. It was a whole marketing thing, and the toys and the movies and the cartoons.
Pokemon was bigger than Barney.
Yeah,
it was. Internationally, it's still an international hit to this day. What I was going to ask was, because every couple years a new Pokemon game comes out with a whole new generation and more creatures and more characters and everything. And for a lot of kids, as I've learned from a lot of my listeners who are a lot younger, a lot of their first experience with Pokemon was, by the time I was in high school or college, like the newest games that had come out and everything. And so every couple of years, there's a new generation of kids that get into it. Do you think, or do you hope that there are also parents these days that, like, maybe even parents that are old enough to have grown up with the first one that I had?
Right.
If they were a little older than me, and like if they played the very first one in 1997 or 8 or whatever it was, and now they have kids of their own, do you think that they allow their kids to get into it and they reminisce on it? Like, what do you think of that?
Well, I think that there are a lot of lessons, good lessons, positive lessons that are learned from the shows. And I'll revert back again to Thomas the Tank Engine. I think there are a lot of good qualities that the Pokemon stories tell about being trustworthy, about having a good friend, about trusting in each other. And there's not many cartoons. I mean, you can't take a Beavis and Butthead and say that you've learned something. That
you'll be entertained,
but you'll be entertained. But you're not going to learn a lesson that's going to make you a better person. Angry Beavers, you're not going to learn something that's going to make you a better person.
But man, you'll laugh your ass off, especially you.
Yeah,
or at a night.
You know what I'm saying. But there's an underlying good story to each and every one of the characters on Pokemon. That there's a togetherness. They have a plan. They're going to figure something out, and I think it's all a positive. As a Thomas the Tank Engine. And as a Power Ranger.
To some extent.
To some extent.
Well, you know what's kind of admirable about that is you were saying before, like, you didn't know how many other parents were actually getting into it or, like, giving a shit, because a lot of them are probably just like, what is this weird fucking Japanese thing that my kids are into right now? But, like, the fact that you took the time to, like, not take it at face value and just be like, all right, clearly there's something about this that my kid really, really likes. Like,
but you know what? You can't say the word fucking and talk about Pokemon in the same sentence.
Fucking Pokemon?
Yeah, you can't.
Some people are into that.
No. You can't, because when I watched it with you, I wasn't saying words like that.
Well, no, but I was. You just didn't know it.
What I think
bad influence.
Yeah. What I think is that there is a lot of substance that could come from it with a parent interacting with a young person. Well,
what was kind of cool to tie this in too, and good segue, thank you for setting me up with that,
You're welcome.
Was when I got to do my episodes of the show, and we watched those 5 episodes together of my character traveling with Ash and
you were on
everybody.
Pokemon?
Yeah, I don't know if I told you, but you were probably asleep while we were watching this, you didn't really catch that.
No, you were that curly-haired kid with the vest.
Yeah, the green-haired kid, with glasses.
He was a nerd name.
He was me if I were in the show, more or less.
But, listen, I can tell you, I cried every time I watched one of those shows.
Do you still have them TiVo'd anywhere?
They are someplace. I think I have 1 or 2 left.
I should get they do have them on DVD now. I should get those.
And I would watch them with Susan to the Third Power, and it was like, I can't believe it. Here's something that we grew up with, that we were so into, and
10 years later, over 10 years later,
for my son to be voicing, I don't care if it was for as short as I got to do my line on EXE. But he did 5 episodes.
Yeah.
And
6 eventually. I did another one later.
I think that was great. And you got a paycheck.
Yeah.
It was pretty special.
Yeah.
Coming all the way from. So I think you folks need to push Christopher to post on YouTube.
No.
The movie
Nope.
that we did.
Nope. Never.
I think
you'll never get
I
it.
think you'll find it very, very entertaining.
The only people who have ever seen these movies outside of you, me, Sue, and Mike Lucas are the women I'm dating at the time. When they come over to meet you guys, you whip out the tapes and you show them. Thankfully, they think that they're adorable.
And they immediately break up with you.
Yes, that's the reason why.
No.
No, they're never going on the internet. I'm sorry, everyone, now that he's all hyped you up.
Look for Datafer. Datafer on YouTube. I am going to post them.
No, not happening.
I won't do that.
It's not happening.
Listen, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And
we're going to go have some dinner now.
We're going to have some dinner. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Yeah, no, this will be going up 2 days before New Year's. So any
okay.
What are your 2016 New Year's resolutions, Dad?
I will. I'm not going to watch Pokemon ever again.
Okay, got it.
No, that's not true. My 2016 resolutions is I don't have any yet. I don't believe in resolutions.
No. No sort of guiding themes.
No, they're like unwarranted expectations.
That's fair.
So I've lost weight. I've lost 20 pounds since July, and I feel good. And
your house looks nice.
My house looks nice, and I'm so happy my son is home with us for the holiday. But
don't cry.
No,
don't you cry.
I'm not crying. I'm not gonna cry. I'm so happy, my little boy.
Anyway,
everyone should have a happy and healthy
holiday season,
and we'll include them all: Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah,
winter solstice,
Festivus.
Festivus
is a big one.
Krampus.
What's Krampus?
Krampus is anti-Santa.
Pain in the Asserus.
That's me. Well, you can't have a happy one of those.
All right, have a great season, holiday season, and
thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you for listening. Yeah. This has been fun, and
I don't have any social media to plug because you don't do that.
It's been bonding. I'm going to give my son a big,
gross,
wet kiss.
You didn't actually touch me.
And happy holiday, y'all.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap us up, and that's going to wrap up Kirblogs for 2016, unless I decide to do an unnecessary New Year's resolution one.
2015.
But 2015, yes, of course. We're going into 2016, excuse me. Thanks, everybody. I hope you enjoyed Pokecember. Perhaps I'll do more of these themed month things in the future. I'll probably do Voice October and Pokecember again next year if I'm continuing to do these, twice a week if I'm still alive. And
if you enjoyed having Datafer, which rolls off a lot easier than Kirbodad. Just let Chris know, because we can do this from afar when he's out there in L.A.
Well, if I come back to visit other than the holidays, we can do another one.
You don't need to come back. You don't need to come back.
I don't want you on my house again.
Yeah, this is long. Okay, how about a round of applause for us?
And now we're destroying the waveform. All right, well, everybody, thank you for listening. I, again, hope you all had a happy holiday season. If you have, now that we're done with Pokecember, if you have future Kirblog topic ideas, leave a comment about that. Leave a comment about, actually, relevant to this, do you have experiences with your parents and during the Pokemon craze, or even, in recent times, like, are your parents who maybe grew up actually playing a lot more video games, are they more into it? Did they get it? Like, I'm curious about other perspectives on, like, if anybody else had kind of similar experiences.
Yes, that would be a great topic. Yeah. We'd love to hear about that, and maybe Chris can get me involved to comment on parents that don't care about Pokemon. Shame on them.
Pick a favorite. And again, just as a little tease, the next Kirblog we'll be doing, which will be the first one of 2016, will be my dad and I talking about just the video games that we played in general growing up for a long time. Yeah, including Tasmania for Genesis. That's it. Goodbye, farewell, and I will catch you all later, but not in a Pokeball.
Adios, muchachos.
Do the blooper line.
Do
the blooper line. Just do it.
Huh?
Do the blooper line. It's true.
Which one?
It's true.
It's true. I do have a vagina.